Once there was a king who had presented his daughter, the princess, with a beautiful diamond necklace. That necklace was very dear to the daughter, but one day the necklace was stolen and the daughter became terribly sad. The king ordered his men to find it, but all their efforts were in vain. Some people said that they saw a bird carrying it. The king announced a huge reward for anyone who found it. Then one day, the king's clerk was walking home along a river next to an industrial area. This river was completely polluted and filthy. The clerk saw a shimmering in the river, and when he looked closely, he saw the diamond necklace. He put his hand in the filthy, dirty water and grabbed at the necklace, but somehow he could not catch it. He tried again and again, but every time he failed to catch it. Finally, he plunged into the river, dirtied himself, and tried to grab the necklace, and yet he failed. He came out feeling very depressed. Just then, a sage who was walking by saw the clerk and asked him what was the matter. The clerk very reluctantly shared the truth with the sage. The sage could see that this man was troubled. The sage could actually see where the necklace was and told the man to look upwards to the branches of the tree instead of in the filthy river. The clerk looked up, and true enough, the necklace was dangling on the branch of a tree. He had been trying to capture a mere reflection of the real necklace all this time. Now, this is what is called Maya or illusion. Maya means that which is not. In this incident, he was thinking he saw the necklace, but that was only a mere reflection. In other words, it was an illusion. A poor, thirsty animal in the desert keeps running towards a mirage, thinking that it can find the water. But actually, as it runs after the mirage more and more, its thirst and distress increase more and more, and it eventually dies. When we run after illusory things, illusory happiness, instead of getting happiness, we actually increase our distress. The more we run towards them, the more the distress will be. However, we should carefully note that unless there is a real object, there is no reflection. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world where the eternal reality exists. So in this material world, we only see the perverted reflection and mistake it to be real. Just like in the dream, we consider the dreamy happenings to be real and we become worried. What if our whole life from birth to death is like this dream, and after death we enter into another dream, another birth-death sequence, and so on and so forth? Finding happiness in this dreamy, illusory existence is like trying to find the illusory reflection of the necklace. Or it is just like the animal trying to run after the mirage. Lord Krishna further says in the Bhagavad Gita, "The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Even though we are supposed to be eternally happy with Krishna, we are struggling in this material world, trying to exploit matter and looking for illusory happiness. Does this mean that everything we see in this material world is illusion? Does it have no reality and value? The truth is, matter does exist. In fact, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that matter is one of his energies. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, altogether these 8 comprise my separated material energies. Matter is not false or illusion. It is real, but it is transient in nature. Just like a dream, it exists for certain duration and it ends. Material happiness whatsoever is short-lived and transient. It does not satisfy our quench for eternal, never-ending happiness. So, to think that matter is meant for my eternal happiness and thus living a life exploiting it for my sense gratification, this false conception is called illusion. Some might argue that this is being pessimistic and that there is a lot of happiness we can tangibly feel even in this so-called illusory existence. Yes, we may feel we do enjoy some happiness in this world. But the scriptures say that that kind of enjoyment is like eating a delicious sweet rice mixed with particles of sand, just like the person in the story tried to catch the necklace but got muddied with all filthy water and was only happy for the time being, thinking he will get the necklace. Now, how do we get freed from this illusion? When we understand that matter is one of the energies of Krishna and hence must be used for his service, that is not illusion, that is eternal reality. Krishna consciousness is a process by which we use everything in this material world in the service of Krishna. Then we don't live in illusion, rather, we live in reality, and our consciousness gets purified from the illusory concept of life. Just like a person in the dream can be woken up by an alarm sound, the spiritual sound is the only way to wake up the sleeping soul from his illusion. Krishna sends his pure devotees, his holy names, his temples, his deity into our material existence to get us out of the dream. So while living in the material world itself, we can use the material energy in the service of Krishna, and eventually at the time of death, we can go back to the real spiritual world. Hare Krishna.